It's nice to see you again, Westchester. It is Friday, September 26th, 2025, and I'm AuCiél Hicks with the Westchester Chronicle. At this month's Borough Council work session, Borough Manager Sean Metrick discussed some of the borough's upcoming financial plans for 2026. Mr. Metrick began his presentation by noting the three areas that make up the bulk of work for local governments: safety, services, and infrastructure. He then proceeded to discuss the current surpluses and deficits of borough funds. Metrick shared that while most of the borough's funds currently have balanced budgets, two borough funds are currently operating at a loss: the general fund and the sewer fund. The borough's general fund received $819,000 in revenue. However, expenses related to public safety totaled $996,000, and transfers from the general fund to the capital fund totaled $2.3 million. This has left the borough general fund operating at a loss of $2.4 million. Metrick concluded his presentation with a preview of future budget topics related to reducing or eliminating property tax increases, redefining capital budget planning, and committing to incremental sewer rate increases. You can find a copy of Mr. Metrick's presentation on west-chester.com. In county news, on Wednesday, September 24th, the Chester County Commissioners passed Ordinance 2025-03, which established, quote, countywide non-discrimination requirements for employment, housing, and public accommodations, and a Human Relations Commission for investigation and enforcement of claims of discrimination. The ordinance was passed with a goal to, quote, promote the rights and opportunities of all persons to participate in the social, cultural, recreational, and economic life of the county, and to assure equal opportunity for all persons concerning employment, housing, and use of public accommodations without regard to actual or perceived race, color, religion, national origin or citizenship status, ancestry, sex including pregnancy, childbirth, and related medical conditions, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, marital status, familial status, physical or mental disability, source of income, age, veteran status, or use of guide or support animals and/or mechanical aids, or domestic or sexual violence victim status. The newly formed Human Relations Commission will be run by volunteers and will receive a $500 annual budget. Public comment on the matter continued for about an hour and a half, with many speaking in favor of and against the ordinance. You can find the full public comment on our Facebook page. Ultimately, the ordinance was passed 2-1, with Commissioners Maxwell and Moskowitz voting for and Commissioner Rowe voting against.
We have a lot of folks who are members of this community that contribute both from a tax-paying standpoint and socially in our communities. It means a lot to me that Chester County, and I believe the population here, wants to be a place where people feel safe and protected, and want government action to codify those rights if at any time the federal government might have reservations about doing those things. I think it makes Chester County a very special place. It's important to me that whatever somebody is, religion, gender, whatever, they're treated equally under the law. And I think that should always be our goal at the local level, the state level, and the federal level. To the degree this ordinance helps to do that, I am ecstatic that Chester area can be a place that is welcoming to everybody who is willing to contribute to this community in a positive way. And I appreciate everyone working really hard on this. It means the world to me.
As recently as 60 years ago, some of you in this room were alive then, my own marriage, as it exists today, was illegal in the American South. Even today, right here in Pennsylvania, I'm sure that there are people who disapprove of interracial marriage. I don't want myself or my family to experience discrimination of any kind. And I don't want any of you, the people of Chester County, to experience discrimination either. Legal protections already exist so that the LGBT community, racial minorities, disabled people, women, survivors of domestic violence, survivors of sexual violence, and veterans and others can enjoy protections against discrimination and be made whole if and when they experience that. They enjoy these protections under authorities much higher than anything we could even create here today. So with this in mind, I then have to ask myself, if I'm creating yet another layer of county government to protect people from things that they're already protected from, am I being a good steward of taxpayer dollars? I find it difficult to believe that this will only cost $500. I understand that Lehigh County has kept theirs very cost effective. We're a bigger county than they are. So as a county commissioner, I have a duty to make sure we're only spending as much money as we responsibly can. I have a duty to use fiscal restraint at all times, even when it's unpopular to do so. I have a duty to the taxpayers, including the taxpayers who fit the descriptions of these protected classes. So for those reasons, I will be voting no on this ordinance.
I'm a bit older than my colleagues, and so I have seen a lot of changes over the years, some good, some very bad. So while I know there, and I have to say, I know there are strong feelings, and I love that we can come here and express them respectfully. Respectfully is key right now. There's an issue that came up just about a month ago, maybe a little longer, and I will share this with you. A Guatemalan man who came here as a child, his parents brought him here because there was a lot of violence, and they became citizens. And he is a citizen today and is raising his own family. And just recently, within the last 2 to 3 months, his lease was up, and the landlord doubled his rent for fear that he was going to create a situation where ICE would come in. He could not afford that. That's discrimination in housing. Redlining is discrimination in housing, and that just occurred 2 years ago in Delaware. No one should be denied a job, a home, or basic services because of who they are. This ordinance creates a fair process so that if discrimination happens, people know they are protected or have a home to go to. Lately, there's a lot of nervousness out here. As I said before, it may be hidden, it's there. Things are happening in the federal government. We are starting to lose our rights. We have to make sure that Chester County residents know we are here for them. So I feel it is my responsibility as a county commissioner to make sure that our county feels safe and respected and included, and that's why I'm voting for this ordinance today.
Our editor, Kyle Hudson, spoke with Carrie Stare, president of the Chester County LGBT Equality Alliance, about the new ordinance.
For those that say that these groups are already covered through other pieces of legislation or laws, yes and no. Certain groups are, certain groups aren't. So for the LGBTQ plus community, for example, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression is part of the Civil Rights Act purely through the Bostock v. Clayton County Supreme Court case. As we have seen recently, these cases can easily be overturned. Just because the Supreme Court decided it, it doesn't mean that they won't rehear the case and decide the other way in the near future. We are currently seeing this this coming season for the Supreme Court. They granted certiorari, which means they are going to hear the case to potentially overturn a Obergefell v. Hodges, which gave the LGBTQ plus community equal marriage rights.
And what would you say? I mean, because the common thing, probably the number one thing that people kept on bringing up was, the bathrooms and people being afraid of trans women in women's bathrooms. And what would you say to people who have those concerns?
People who are transgender women going to the bathroom, gender nonconforming women going into the bathroom, which I myself am very masculine presenting. My gender expression doesn't necessarily match the typical definition of what a female should look like, even though I was born female and I identify as female. We just want to pee. If we are going in that bathroom, we just have to use the bathroom. Leave us alone. That's all we're in there to do. We're going to go, do our business, wash our hands, get out. 9 times out of 10, we are more concerned about what is going to happen to ourselves in the bathroom than us thinking about what are we going to do to somebody else.
Have you ever experienced someone mistaking you for male in the past? Has that ever happened to you?
Unfortunately, it happens quite frequently. There have been instances recently in Chester County in a local diner where I had a waitress chase me into the bathroom saying, "That is the women's bathroom." And I know how to read. I know what bathroom I'm going into. And it's one of the big reasons why I try not to use the bathroom when I'm out in public.
Even though you are born a woman, you identify as a woman?
Yes, because I don't want to potentially risk my safety if somebody has more violent thoughts about, oh, this person shouldn't be in the bathroom.
And so what kind of protections does this ordinance give you now? And does it make you feel safer?
So the ordinance doesn't specifically cover bathrooms, but it does give me a small sigh of relief that based on employment, public accommodation, and housing, we cannot be discriminated against based on our sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, which we have seen instances of this before in the past. Many people have come to us as an organization to seek legal remedies for being discriminated against in those categories. But unfortunately, at the time, there was no legal recourse that we could give them. There was no avenue for them to seek compensation or damages, or even just to have a conversation about, hey, this isn't right. Something needs to be done here. So now that we have that avenue, it does give us a small sense of relief. Is it perfect? No. Does it cover everything? No. But we at least have the confidence in employment, housing, and public accommodation now that there is a course of action should there be discrimination.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people here in Chester County?
We just want to live our lives. Honestly, the LGBTQ plus community, we're your neighbors. We live beside you. We work beside you. We eat beside you at the restaurant. And we just want to be happy, healthy, and we want to raise our families. My partner and I just recently had a little boy, and that we just want the best for him.
Congratulations. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
parenthood. If people want to find out more about the LGBT Equality Alliance of Chester County, where can they find that out?
Sure. You can check out our website, lgbteachesco.org. We're also on Facebook, LGBT Equality Alliance of Chester County, and Instagram, LGBT Equality Alliance. And you can find links to our other socials on LinkedIn and Blue Sky from there.
If you'd like to read the ordinance yourself, you can find a link in the description below. And now, here's Emily with the weather.
Well, hey there, AuCiél, and it's great to see you again, Westchester. I'm Emily Gaughan, here to walk you through your forecast for this weekend and beyond. Well, this past Monday was the first official day of autumn, and we're slowly starting to feel those cooler temps. We're still in the high 70s this weekend, going up to 78 degrees on Friday and down to 63 degrees. We have some rain in the middle of the night that's left over from our showers yesterday. There's a 60% chance that our rain turns stormy when we're sleeping, and we can expect to wake up to a few flood alerts, so plan your morning commutes accordingly. Saturday arrives with a slight breeze, and we go up to 76 degrees with a low of 59 degrees at night when we see a few more raindrops come our way. There's a slight breeze, and it's overcast for the majority of the day until that rain comes in. These droplets, although small, are expected to hang around on and off throughout the day Sunday. Sunday's high is also 76 with a low of 59 degrees as well. There's a slight breeze, and we should get a longer break in between the drizzles overnight into Monday. And speaking of Monday, let's take a look into next week. Now we're cooling off some more, and I'm a happy camper. We're in the high 70s with the lows at the high 50s at the start of our week here. Monday and Tuesday also have some off and on sprinkles throughout the day, starting in the afternoon on Monday. After those drops in the beginning of the week, we'll have a little bit of sun peeking through here and there. On Wednesday, we have a high of 75 degrees with highs in the low 70s Thursday and Friday. We even dip down to the mid-40s at night on Thursday and Friday, so break out those blankets if you've got them. I'm one of the only people I know who really enjoys the cool weather, but only time will tell when we move into chillier weather for the season. AuCiél, back to you.
Fall has officially begun, which means get ready to stop by the center of town to celebrate Westchester's 4th annual Oktoberfest that is taking place this Saturday, September 27th. You can find $6 beers, ciders, and appetizers at participating bars and restaurants. All you need to do is go in and ask for the Oktoberfest specials. You can find out more about Oktoberfest and participating locations by checking out downtownwestchester.com. It's a great way to close out the 2025 open air market, which ends after September 28th. After this weekend, Gay Street will open back up to traffic on the weekends for the remainder of the year. What do you think about the open air market? Let us know in the comments below. The 2025 municipal election is taking place on Tuesday, November 4th. If you have not registered to vote already, you still have 1 month to do so. That is 1 more month for you to make your voice heard in selecting the people you want to represent yourself and your community. The deadline to register to vote for the election is October 20th, and the deadline to register for a mail-in ballot is October 28th. The unofficial list of candidates is up on the Chester County website, chesco.org. This year, in Westchester, we will be voting for Borough Council representatives for Wards 1, 3, 5, and 7, as well as the following county row offices: Controller, Coroner, Treasurer, Clerk of Courts, and Pathonetary. We will also be voting on the Mayor of the Borough. We will provide a link to the full list of offices in the description below. We will also be conducting our annual candidate forum, open to all candidates on the ballot in Westchester, so stay tuned for even more information. We will also be conducting our annual candidate forum, open to all candidates on the ballot in Westchester, so stay tuned for more information. You can also register to vote and find out more about who is on the ballot by going to the Voter Services section of our own chesco.org. It is never too late to register to vote. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to one of our favorite neighbors, Eddie from Eddie Knows Westchester. You might have seen him online, letting people know about all the cool stuff in our area. Our editor spoke with Eddie and his mom, Megan, about their project earlier this week.
Eddie Knows Westchester is where we promote local businesses and we go and visit them, hear the owner's story, to help get their word out and hear their background of how they got into doing what they're doing. And then we take pictures of the inside, outside of the place with the staff and the owners. And then we write about it a couple days later on our Instagram and Facebook pages. So I was always commenting in the local Facebook groups during the COVID year. And it was always like, people were asking like, what's a go-to breakfast, lunch place, or a barber shop or a bake shop? And I would comment those places, and the owners would then see them and say that they got business out of them for when they reopened. And I was always into like promoting friends' businesses at the time who we knew of who had businesses and supporting them. So we saw how they were like kind of struggling a little bit and wanted to do something to help them.
Everybody knows Eddie, and Eddie is full of information that has to do with Westchester. All the businesses, where to go to eat, where to get a cake, where to go to get your hair cut. He just knows everything, and he knows the local sporting events as well. And so we were trying to come up with something that could combine Eddie's knowledge and promote local businesses.
So I want to ask one last question. If you could have people know, what would you want people to know about Eddie from Eddie Knows Westchester? There's one thing everyone should know about Eddie. What is it?
I think it would be just that I like to promote the local businesses, and like if you want to get featured on the page, just reach out and we can set something up.
Well, so then that takes me to the kind of our closing thing is, if someone wants to reach out to you guys and find out more about what you do, where can they find out more about Eddie Knows Westchester?
If you want to find out more about Eddie Knows Westchester.
Why don't you just start again?
Yeah, sorry. If you want to find out more about Eddie Knows Westchester, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Eddie Knows Westchester and Facebook. and on my website at eddyknowswestchester.com.
Yeah, we post everything, goes on to Instagram. We post it on Instagram, goes right to Facebook, and it goes onto our website.
If you want to know more about Eddie Knows Westchester, you can follow him at his links in the description below. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to your continued support, our team has grown and we look forward to bringing you even more coverage. With our friends at Align Space, we can take our project to the next level. However, in order to keep the show ad-free, we will need your help. If you appreciate what we do, please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon, liking and sharing us on Facebook, and subscribing on YouTube. It's the easiest way to support us and help us bring you the news. If you'd like to listen to the show via podcast, you can find us on SoundCloud. And finally, if you have a news tip, an event you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hi, you can reach us via email at westchesterchronicle@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Our program is produced by Crimson Planet Media, recorded at Align Space here in downtown Westchester, and our music is by Doug Keller. As always, we want to thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Until then, I've been AuCiél Hicks with the Westchester Chronicle.